Oh my god. Test. This is me talking. Turn it down just a smidge. How about now? If I'm talking like this. Alright, let's audio level test time. Gotta check those audio levels. I am bad at this. Alright, so this is me speaking. Speaking normally. Speaking normally. Okay, so I think that works. I can get the mic closer to me. I like that. Okay. I also need to check the delay on YouTube because someone told me yesterday that it was pretty bad, and I found out a way to fix that. I hope. So let's check that out. I also need to check the delay on. That's not promising. That's not good. All right, so the delay is still there, even though I set my freaking stream to be low latency. So I don't understand what's happening. That is very annoying. How do I become a streamer? View in the control room. Yeah, it's set to normal latency. What the heck? I swear I set it to frickin' low latency. Okay, so every time I go live on YouTube, the latency is set to normal and not low. YouTube dashboard has 3 latency modes: low, normal, high. When streaming up to 1080p streams, for 1440p and higher, there are only 2, normal and high. Oh, is my resolution too high? Since YouTube transcodes every stream at their end, there's no way to reduce the latency. Also, the latency is perceived to be more because of stream buffering. If you use 2x speed on the YouTube player, it may take you to the least delay possible. On the go live page, scroll down, select low latency. We might just have to accept the delay. I don't know what else to do about it. It is annoying though. I didn't see any like default settings. Curious. Okay, that seems fine. Wish there was a way to like. I'm gonna have to like hire someone to fix all this for me. All right. Hello, Twitch, and hello, YouTube. For anyone who is out there at the beginning of this, thank you. I appreciate it. I am ready to finally start making this game. And with this attempt, I think I am going to be using QML and in turn some JavaScript, but mostly QML, C++ is the goal. The other goal is as I build up my architecture, I will make the repo open source, but the game will be proprietary, of course. But anything I share on stream is done out of the interest of sharing with others and having a topic to discuss. So I think I am about ready to just jump in. I'm trying to decide the best approach here. Ideally, I would put my game in its own repo and I would pull this repo into it. That's complicated and it's going to take some effort. So I think to start with, I might just add my game in here, call it Briarthorn or whatever. In fact, I think I'm going to clone my game into this folder so that I can make use of all the Qt components and any modules that I implement myself. Hello, Ravel. So after I think I've convinced myself. I think that is what I want to do. So let's do that. So I think I'm gonna want to archive these. Does GitHub support archiving repos? Okay, so there's a danger zone for the archive this repository. Danger zone, archives. Archive this repository. Mark this repository as archived and read only. It doesn't change the name though. I almost want to relocate this. You're new here? Oh, I am up to writing a game, or really starting to port over a demo of a game from Godot using C++ and QtQuick, QML, that kind of stuff. I can probably show you a real quick demo since you asked. Let's see here. I want to go to desktop. Oh, my camera's in the wrong spot. All right. So on my desktop here, this will at least give you an idea of what I'm trying to do. So I've got this game, or a shell of a game, that I can play with a controller. Maybe. Gotta turn a controller on. Okay. So the idea is this is going to be like an RPG tactical situation shooter type of thing. So these enemies are flying towards me, so I can, select them. Oh, one just shot a missile at me, so I need to actually start moving here quick, otherwise they're gonna kill me. And then this demo. Oh, and then there's the boss. The boss appeared. I'm gonna shoot a missile at him too, and then I'm gonna try and fly out of here. But that's like, and this is the demo, right? This is really all I have right now. I want to get some of this ported over into my C++ project, so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working on right now. You can see that this guy out here is less than 20 kilometers away from me. I've got a missile coming in hot. So I'm trying to... This missile's going to kill me? So I also have these missiles set to like time out after 60 seconds, so I'm hoping that they time out, because if not, then the game dies. And that's about as far as I got. Okay, that one didn't make it. Okay, those didn't make it. We're good. So then this guy right here, Once he's already within 20 kilometers of me, so he might try and do this here soon. But he's gonna try and get behind me and shoot a laser beam at me, charge it up and shoot. And here it comes. He's lining it up. Oh, he decided he didn't like that. Oh, there he goes again. Nope. Oh, nope. He's struggling. It's probably because I'm turning. Look, the algorithm for flying, for the boss flying, is not great, okay? Just calm down. Yeah, he has to line himself back up again. So as you can see, this game is in its infancy. He missed. Oh, is he gonna miss this time? Wow, he's doing a terrible job shooting. Don't know what's going on there. But anyway, you get the idea. So I'm taking this game with Godot and I'm porting it over to C++ and QtQuick. Oh, that's awesome. You've probably made more progress in making a game than I have. Then, as you could see, my game didn't really have much going on. It was just like figuring out some of the controls and shooting a weapon. But I'm always impressed by those who can hop into a game jam and spit out something that's actually like fun to play. That is so impressive. So impressive. I'm just a boring old C++ software engineer. All right, so I want to archive. I won't archive for now. I'll figure that out later. I guess what I'll do is create a new repo. Or actually, I know what I want to do. I want to rename this one. Change visibility. Okay, I'm glad it's available. Rename it. All right, perfect. New repo. Briarthorn. I don't really need. I don't really need anything for this right now. I'll have to figure that out later. Okay. Got it. So we're going to copy this and I'm going to clone it into this app folder. Is that right? Yeah. So change into app, git clone Briarthorn. I appear to have cloned an empty repo. Yes, that makes sense. Then we're going to ignore it so it doesn't appear in my main project here, so I don't accidentally commit it. Let's see, we got build directory, VC package, Qt, Briarthorn. Can I just do Briarthorn, or does it have to be app/Briarthorn? Oh, looks like that's all I needed. Hey, just jumped in to say hi. Quite late. Hope to catch you. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, BYK. Have a good night. Take care. All right, so I think we're good. So now it should show up. So a few of my shorts. So you're learning. Awesome. Oh, you like Rust? I'll be honest. I haven't tried Rust yet. I am starting to see more and more people mention they like Rust, and I'll be honest, I think a lot of Rust people left comments on some of my YouTube shorts, and they're like, "Yeah, this is why C++ sucks." So I don't know. They all seem high and mighty, but Rust is interesting to me, especially as a more modern language. Um, I'll probably try and learn it someday, maybe on stream if it's worth everyone's while. We'll see. Uh, but at least for the game I'm making, I'm sticking with something I am familiar with, so I don't like spend a lot of time burning and churning and actually try and get something out the door kind of thing. Okay. So I've got the Briarthorn folder going, so I think it's just a matter of adding. Ooh, this is interesting. How do I do this? I think it's if exists. If exists. Briarthorn. Add it. That way, on my in my repo for Awin, it will still compile and pass the pipelines. Okay, so Briarthorn itself needs a CMake list. It's gonna need a main.cpp. You came in at the right time, Ravel. I'm literally starting this now because I spent the past few streams trying to just get all of this set up in preparation. So you're watching it kind of from the beginning. So we're gonna copy this because this is just kind of a template main. All right, so I don't want this. I don't think. I do want this. I do want this. I want this. I want all of this. I want all of this. Okay. Okay. So I need to come up with a way of loading this main.qml file without a hard-coded path. I wonder if I should create a QML folder. I started. I need to install the directory. Ooh, data directory. Is that what I want? Because it'll go, I kind of just want it, I guess it could go in a share folder. For now. I guess that's fine. Is that fine? With a project name called Briarthorn. So it'd be share/Briarthorn. That good. Seems overkill. I don't think this needs to go here. I really just want this to go like install lib, install bin. Is there, let's see. So install prefix. When bin. I would expect my executable to end up here. So it would be up a level. Share I'll leave it alone for now. And this is how Briarthorn landed on having data stored in its shared folder. Because it's good enough for now, and I'll probably never go back and fix it. So let's give this a shot. I need to load this. You go up a level, share, Briarthorn, QML, like that. I think that's how it will appear. And this is Briarthorn. All that looks good. I think that's it. I can copy and paste this. Well, that didn't work. I don't think my project even got added. Oh, wait a minute. If exists Briarthorn. Okay, so maybe this is the incorrect way of doing this. CMake current source directory. If exists Briarthorn, add the Briarthorn subdirectory. Let's try that. If it works, it should show up as a CMake target. Cannot specify source for target on which is not built by this project. Oh, don't worry, Ravel. Don't worry, you're not slowing me down. I'm here to share programming and chat with like-minded individuals as well. As per your question, I am not on Linux currently. I am on Windows. I do support Linux and developing on Linux, at least for my project that you're seeing here. I can use Linux via Docker and dev containers, so I can just hit a button here in VS Code, and it will swap me over to a Linux development environment with Linux compilers and all the tools I need, and it will work. I say work because it just works, but that just works is pulling a lot of weight. I put a lot of time and effort building out this project in order to swap over to a Linux environment and compile for it. And I have tried Vim years ago. I couldn't get into it. I recently tried NeoVim, and it felt just like Vim. Go figure. And so I couldn't get into it. That doesn't mean I couldn't spend a lot of time and effort, like eventually getting good with it. It's just not where my priorities currently are. Okay, why? I screwed something up. Oh. Wait, what? Cannot specify sources for target Awin. Where is it getting Awin from? Which is not built by this project. On CMake list line 3 of Briarthorn. I mean, I'll give credit where credit's due. If you spent the time and effort to become really good with Vim, it's kind of magical what people are able to do with it, especially without a mouse. I am working on porting a demo of a game that I did in Godot into a C++ QtQuick QML project. And more specifically, I'm trying to figure out why this is busted. It's saying at Briarthorn CMake list line 3. It's thinking this project name. Oh, wait a minute. I might know what's going on. Wonder if I have to do... And if I have to do that, then I probably have to do it here as well. There we go. All right. I think that's going to work. Let's verify. In my build folder here, under debug, I should see a Briarthorn executable, yep, and a share folder with the main.qml file I'm going to be loading. So let's try and run it. I'm probably going to have to add this application to OBS so it shows up on stream. But I should be able to do /build x64 msvc debug installed bin Briarthorn. Ooh, that's awkward. It is looking for... Oh, does it not do relative pathing? Okay, I'm thinking this doesn't do relative pathing? Alright, let's ask us our inline buddy here. I'm trying to load this main.qml relative to my executable, but this doesn't appear to work. Aha! I figured Qt would have a function for this. So it's doing application dir path, then go back a level. Okay, so let's try that. Son of a biscuit. Failed to load the component. Installed bin, go back a level. Should be share Briarthorn QML main. Share Briarthorn QML. Oh, there's double QML here. I got the CMake install incorrect. Maybe that's what was not working. Wrong one. Okay, so I want to install QML. Ah, I bet I need, this is like I bet I need that trailing slash to install the contents of this. Ooh, oh no. Or do I need it here? Install the contents of that. No, let's do this. I'm going to install QML into here. All right, let's do that. Delete this install directory. Run it. That looks good. All right, now we're running. Oh, that's funny. Did I leave the window title the same? I bet I did. Sure did. All right. Let's make this look like a game. How do I do that? Oh. Trying to think. Because I want hot reloading to work too. I gotta think about that one for a sec. I could leave it pointing to the QML files without the install for hot reloading purposes. That would be more productive. That would be a lot easier than me having to sit here and install the QML files over and over again. I can just make a change to a QML file, run it, call it a day. So let's do that. Let's try this real quick. So if this works, I can run it with that QML preview application, and then anytime I make a change to the QML file, it should run. Okay. All right, so let's try the QML preview. I think that's all I had to do. Oh, I did want to try it without this extra command or parameter. Nope, that's the wrong executable. Stand by. There we go. All right, so let's see if this works. I want to add text to the center of my window. Text. We're going to anchor it. Center, is it anchors or anchor? Anchor dot center. I think it's incomplete binding. Might be anchors dot center in parent. Hello, font size. Save it. Yeah, there we go. It works. We'll call it white. We'll make it like 48. All right, so hot reloading is working. What exactly QML? I think I've heard of it, but never used it. Would like to help, but I didn't code. Yeah, so QML is Qt's markup language for declarative GUI and application development. So, you think of what's a well-known application? Think of something like Discord, right? You look at Discord, you see you can run it on Windows, you can run it on Linux, Mac, you can run it in the browser, you can run it on your phone, right? All of that is using code that works on multiple platforms so that it looks and feels the exact same no matter which platform you're running on. Well, Qt is a C++ framework for application development. QtQuick is the declarative form of that. What is declarative? Declarative is where I can assign values to these parameters And anytime this value changes, it will automatically change the values it's assigned to. It's reactive. You ever hear of React? Versus imperative, where you're actually like having to implement the logic yourself. Like every frame, you need to take the X value and assign it to another property, kind of thing. So this makes application development quicker and easier. Under the hood of all of this is C++, right? So when this main.cpp is loading this main.qml file, it's loading all of the content from this essentially a scripting language, and runs it through a almost like a virtual machine, um, a scripting engine, if you will, and it's just C++ under the hood. And QML also supports JavaScript, so I can do I can declare a JavaScript function, call it update entities, loop over those entities, and update their values, kind of thing. So I can use JavaScript if I want to, or if I want to, I can write my logic in C++ and then develop a module like a DLL library, link against it, and then expose that code to the QML scripting language. Okay. So now the real question is, can I add another QML file? What's the best way to do this? I need to hook it up to this repeater and see if I can get more squares to show up. So let's do that. Let's create a new file, call it a model entity.qml. God, it's been so long since I've used this. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a list model, I think. Okay, I don't like that my language server is failing to find these. I thought I fixed that, but I wonder if it's because... Oh, I don't have a .ini file. Wait, where's my... Wait a minute. Where's my .ini file? Generate inis on... What the heck? I wonder if it's because... You know what? I'm just gonna delete the build folder real quick. Yoink. Debug. All that looks good. Hit configure. There's a .ini file. Oh, I wonder if it's because I'm not calling qtadd module. That would be annoying if that were the case. Okay. That appears to be what's happening. All right, well, until I figure that out, I'm just going to copy this, I think. Oh, this is pointing to release, so this didn't even regenerate. Something's gone wrong. I'm going to ask. When I delete my build folder, and reconfigure CMake, the .qmls.ini files are not generating. The files that currently exist did not get updated and still point to MSVC release when they should be pointing to MSVC debug. Let's see what's going on there. I want that. I want that. I want that. Well, thank you for stopping by. I hope you do well in your studies and you continue to seek the knowledge to get better at this, because it is a lot of fun once you get there. You know, it's awesome that you are into these kinds of languages. So I really appreciate you stopping by, and have a good night. Oh my gosh. Well, don't do that. Get rest. You need rest. Programming is not easy. You need all the rest you can get. Oh, my cat's here. I made it almost an hour into the stream before you started bugging me again. All right. Yeah. You here to bug me? Ridiculous. Oh, I'm just being dumb. They're generated at build time. When you delete the build folder and reconfigure the files and source tree, survive the old path. Let me look. Well, hopefully it doesn't. I mean, all right. Before you do this, what are you about to do? Let me check CMake variable available for constructing the INI content. That's fine. code till 4:30. Oh, dude. If you're still there, don't. Get some sleep. But I get it. I totally get it. You start thinking about an interesting problem or something you're trying to learn and figure out, and you feel the need to just, one more line of code. The next thing you know, you're laying in bed and you're just like, it's just churning in your mind, keeping you awake. It's a trick, like it's a skill to shut your mind off from thinking about all of that. Take it from me, you don't want to go down that road. You'll start losing a lot of sleep. Oh, I knew this was gonna happen. I don't want a custom. Going right. What is it doing? Yeah, I don't. This isn't gonna work. That looks good. That looks good. Then this doesn't have one. I think it's because I don't have this. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. There we go. There's the INI file I was looking for. All right. Did that help? Not even a little bit. But it works for this. Okay, so let me try. Actually, I have an idea. Let's go ahead and add. What the frick? Does it need to go in here? Is that what it was? Okay. If I delete this, does it stop working? Do I just need to. I don't know. All right, whatever. Okay. So now, let's try this again. Is that showing up for people? What's the best way to do this for my vertical peeps? Do something like that, I guess. Better than nothing. You'll get what you get and you'll like it. There's only so much vertical space I can give you guys. Okay. All right. Back to this. So I have a model called model entity, has XY heading, and I want to replace what this is currently using, which is name XY heading. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Let's go ahead and actually, I don't think I need to import. I think I can just use it. So I can, God, it's been a minute since I've done this. So I think I can do like model entity and just give it an ID. This becomes model entity. This becomes a list element, I guess. Does that not work? I feel like that should work. It's not looking like it works. Type error. Cannot read property X of null. Because I'm probably doing this wrong. Let me copy this. All this model. That doesn't work either. Cannot override final property. Cannot. Okay. I don't remember how this works. Let me think. QML list model example. Oh, looks like I don't even have to call it out. That might be the problem. So this just becomes X, Y, heading. There we go. Something's happening. The X and Y isn't working, but the rotation's working. Shadows member? Okay, model, entity. Unqualified access. What is that? That's a lot. That's annoying. I'm gonna use the bathroom and take care of my cat. Be right back. Programming's done. Okay, now people show up when I'm not here. It's concerning that I get more viewers when I'm not sitting at my seat. Now it makes me think I'm the problem. All right, so what the hell am I doing wrong here? That's the real question. Wait. There we go. Okay, cool. So then I can do like 400. Or better yet, I can do window dot width times 0.8. Oh, it didn't like that. Unable to assign undefined to double. Window. Wait, what? Why wouldn't that work? Cannot read property heading of undefined. Oh, these are old. Okay, let's kill this. Ooh. Okay. Let's do a compile. Good old compile. Let's try and run that again. See what error I get. Okay. List element cannot use script for property values. Oh, lame. That's what I get for trying to be fancy. All right, back to 400. Okay. 800. All right, so that is moving. We've got something rendering. Promising. So I gotta think. Yes, I am using VS Code today. Text, chat. Oh yeah. So now I should be able to go back to model entity. Maybe let's comment this out. First try. Yeah, okay, that's working. Sweet. Um hmm. I gotta think. I need I need a visual. I need like visual elements. What is QML? QML is a markup language for the QtQuick declarative module. Qt being the C++ framework for cross-platform application development, embedded systems, web, mobile, etc. QtQuick is it's a more modern module of Qt. So Qt's been around since like what, the 80s or 90s, something crazy like that. QtQuick has been around since like the 2000s, right? So it's a lot more modern. It's kind of the more modern way of doing application development, and it is declarative and reactive. So if I assign a value to a property and this value changes, then this property changes along with it. So now I don't have to write a bunch of code to sit there and grab values from one variable and assign it to another and make sure anytime it's updated, I also update another value. I just write this one line and it just works, right? Now under the hood, it's still C++, so there's still a lot of like logic going on behind the scenes, but from a usability perspective, it's a little quicker to get things up and running. And in my mind, I really like scripting via nodes like this, where you can do like nested objects versus I don't know, something like Godot where you have to like drag and drop through a GUI editor to get everything set up. So that's kind of what QML is. It's kind of, and it also supports JavaScript, but it's basically like a front end to C++, if you will. It's a way to write it without having to write a bunch of C++. Doesn't mean I can't use C++, so I do have, like, to give you an idea, I have this simple header file written in C++. Now it's using Qt macros in order to register to Qt's framework. But then I can do something like just add a property to my window here, call it, make it a list of entity type, which is what I defined in this header file right here, entity. I can call this entities. And then I can assign a bunch of entities to it. Actually, do I even need, I don't think I need this. Oh God, did I screw something up? No, okay. And then what I can do is right now, this repeater is what's rendering these rectangles. In theory, I should be able to swap this out for parent.entities. First try? Ooh, not first try. I think I have to call it model data for here because it's a completely different type. Oh no, first try. Yeah, I just wrote it wrong. So now it's using my C++ type that I wrote in C++, exposed it to QML, and now I can script with C++ under the hood. Oh, someone's texting me. Ooh, my friend's working on a garden and it's turning out nice. Sending to my mom. She will appreciate it. Let's see. I want to copy the image. Here. See? Just a nice little garden my friend's doing up. Let's see. Did I actually download it? No. Don't I have a way to just copy the image? Do I have to actually download it? Forward mom. Cool. All right. Where was I? But anyway, I think long term, I do plan to use more of this C++ implementation stuff. It is a little more, well, okay. I won't say it's more performant unless we're careful with how we're talking about this. I want to use raw data for my game, so like structs and things like that, versus using pointers. Anytime you see one of these objects where it starts with like a name and then followed by a brace, under the hood, that's effectively a pointer. So when I define a list of data like this, these list elements are individual pointers to an object. Whereas in this example, property list entity, I know an entity is not a pointer. It's literally this. It's a struct of data that is getting initialized via this script and then stored in under the hood of list is just a C++ vector, which is an array on the heap. That's all it is, right? So this is probably the long-term plan. But before we go with the long-term plan, it's a lot easier to script QML without having to write any C++. And as you guys saw, do hot reloading by just doing this. And boom. So I start with this, and then when performance becomes an issue, I swap it to C++, and then performance issues go away. Also, how cool is it that I am doing hot reloading with C++ and QML? So freaking cool. Personally, I think it's cool. You have no idea how long it's I've been wanting to do this, or have like a way to do this easily. All right, so now that I can modify this, I should now be able to just simply add another entity. Let's call it 4. Sure, save it, and now it adds a 4th entity. Perfect. So now my question is, what do I do with this information? So I need something that actually runs the game, which means running a physics process or like a physics update. I need something like with a timer that does that. And then once I have the timer, I need it to run my systems of radar detection, track updates, that kind of thing. I'm also going to have to implement a controller, which Qt does not support out of the box, or not anymore. Put a water barrel beside the gutter, just need to find one that's not a whiskey barrel. Okay. There's one thing, because this is a like declarative framework QML is, you don't really get access to a lot of like update timers. You can, but they will eventually become not very performant very quickly, because part of the problem is the timers that Qt provides for QML is all front end timers, so they're running on the render thread, which is synchronized with the render thread. So you're going to get whatever frame rate the rendering thread gives you, versus like a fixed time step with a like a physics engine. So maybe that's what I want to do first, is get a fixed time step up and running, and then expose it as an object that I can use in QML. Probably be the best way to do that. I could call it fixed timer, I guess. Because QML has the timer type. And I'd probably just make something exactly the same, like the exact same API, so it's consistent. The timer can be used to trigger an action either once or repeatedly at a given interval. There is a timer that shows the current date time and updates the text every 500 milliseconds. It uses JavaScript date object to access the current time. The timer type is synchronized with the animation timer. Since the animation timer is usually set to 60 frames a second, the resolution of the timer will at best be 16 milliseconds. If the timer is running and one of its properties is changed, the elapsed time will be reset. For example, if a timer with interval 1000 has a repeat, the elapsed time will now be reset to 0 or trigger 1000 milliseconds later. Hey Josh, how's it going? So yeah, this won't do for like a physics time step. This won't do at all. So I've got to fix that. So I think, well, let me verify that Qt doesn't have something else that I can use. I don't think it does, or it didn't before. What's the best way to figure this out? All right. QML fixed rate timer GUI thread. QML timer provides simple declarative way to execute code at a fixed rate, typically 60 frames a second. The timer operates on the main thread, making them ideal. Yeah, QML timers are not high precision real-time timers. They rely on the event loop. Restarting. Qt is a solution for all your timing needs. Does it though? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably good enough. It's just you're gonna notice it if, like, I don't know. Let's say you have a bunch of graphics up and running, and this game loads, and then your GPU is bottlenecked. Maybe you're streaming while playing my game. Yeah, gonna stream while you play my game, and your GPU gets bottlenecked. You will notice a slowdown if I use a GPU timer like this, or a timer that's synchronized with the rendering. Saw your YouTube short when you talked about CMake presets, VC package, and I was like, no way, I just set this up. That is awesome. CMake and VC package represent. I am going to have a video at some point that walks through the entire process from start to finish on setting all of it up from scratch. It's just taking a lot of time because I did it a couple of weeks ago in a 5.5 hour stream. So all of that has to get edited, and I want to like shorten it up and make sure it highlights all the important stuff. and I'll have it like time stamped and everything so that anyone can use it as a reference and see how I go about doing it, which might not be how anyone else does it, but it's how I do it. I think the CMake presets and VC package was a game changer to C++ project management. I've been using it now for, well, since like 2019, I think. 2019. Yeah, because I was using it right before COVID hit. And it has gotten so much better. And it gets better every update. I'll never go back to managing your dependencies on your own. So when new languages come out like Rust that already come with that out of the box, that's how you do it. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna verify my assumption here with we'll see if AI knows what I'm talking about. I'm gonna set it to ask a question. If I understand correctly, the QML timer is synchronized with the render thread. If I wanted to implement a timer that is fixed at 100 hertz on the GUI thread where event handling occurs, I would need to implement this myself. I feel like the way I worded this means the LLM is just going to come back and be like, yep, what you said is what you said. Guess we could always look at the code. I do have the code. Anything, because we're using VC package, anything we are using, the code exists right here. Where would the timer be? I feel like it would have been in here. Is it not an item? Where would the timer be? QQuick controls, layouts, shapes, widgets. Core? Nah. Can I? Let me do a find in folder. Actually, don't know what it's implemented as. If it's not a QQuick. Oh wait. Let me try QML named element timer. Ooh, there it is. QML. Oh, it's a QML. QML timer. All right, so here's the actual C++ implementation. It derives from an object. QML timer. So I need to figure out what thread is calling triggered and when it's doing that. So where's the C++ implementation? QML timer. It's right here. So now I can look for wherever triggered is being called and see how this is actually measuring things. So it's using a QML timer. Set the interval, update, is running, set repeating, triggered on start. Here we go. So on update, maybe tick. If it's running, set the current time. This is where it emits triggered. This signal is emitted when the timer times out. Q event triggered. Here we go. Animation finished. So this is how it's actually working. Animation finished. It's going to create this event triggered post event, which means it's getting queued for the next thread iteration of events. It gets handled. When it gets handled, it emits triggered. Animation finished. Where the heck is that? QML timer private. That's what this is. No, it's not. Oh. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so QML timer private is a animation job change listener, whatever that means, that overrides animation finish, animation current loop change. So this has to be coming from the render thread. Awaiting tick, first tick, trigger no start. All right, let me see what the LLM was saying. I'm pretty sure I'm right. The QML timer is already on the GUI thread. It's just not frame synchronized. For a fixed 100 Hz timer on the GUI thread, you don't need to implement this yourself. The built-in QML timer supports it with the timer type property. Oh, it has a precise timer? Is that true? I think the LLM lied to me. I know it has a precise timer in C++. Qt 6.4 has a frame animation which fires in sync with the scene graph, like request animation frame. No. No. There's no timer type here. We're going to blow this guy's mind. I think you're mistaken. According to Qt's official documentation for the QML timer, there is no timer type. You might be thinking of the C++ Q timer, which is completely different. Which is also probably what I would use to implement this for a physics step. That's what I thought. Okay, which I've done in the past. So I'm just going to, I probably just need to implement my own, a dedicated thread running a Q timer. I'm not using sleep 4. That is not the kind of timer we need. That would be crazy talk. Because we need, effectively, we're going to need our game loop that we're going to have to implement. And I wonder if I need to implement my own game objects, right? Because what if I want to do something like, game object on update, right? And then run logic or wire up some C++. And then this would at least guarantee, like, hey, this is the update rate. And I could even have a delta time here. And it's not really a game object. It's literally just going to be fixed. Timer fixed. Like a fixed rate timer. And this is no longer on update. It is triggered to keep the API consistent with Qt's API. Which means this isn't a thing, I don't think. That's okay, because you're also going to have an interval, and set it to milliseconds. Help me out. Milliseconds. 100 hertz. 10 milliseconds. And so then you can just reference that for any logic you need and be like, hey, var delta time equals interval divided by 1,000. Something like that, right? So that would give us our fixed time step. And I wonder, instead of having, because I don't want to have multiple timers running every time I add one of these. It just needs to use the same timer, which means it's probably an event I'm creating. And then handling. No, let's not make it complicated. Okay. So I think this is what I need to do. We're gonna implement timer fixed. We're gonna make it good. And anyone who uses this project from GitHub will get it for free. I gotta make a decision. Do I go with H or HPP? Is that all I have to do here? I typed that wrong? Did I do something wrong? Oh, I sure did. I'm so used to using .h for my projects. Gosh, I don't know if I remember how to. I don't even think I need this. Oh, this isn't going to work. If I want to make this a linkable library that other people can use, I don't want to do it this way, I don't think. Quick question. I haven't coded for a while. I mean, traditionally I went from copy paste AI, but now I'm pretty good at interviews, coder, but I can't bring code. Am I supposed to? Supposed to what? What are you supposed to do? What am I doing here? I gotta decide if I want to keep my header files here or in a different directory to support. Actually, will it do it for me? I didn't think about that. But I can't freaking code. Am I supposed to? I mean, that's a tough question because everyone's situation is going to be different, right? I can only speak to the experience I have, and at least for me, I have found to be significantly more successful using AI because I know how to code, right? It's like anything else. If you understand the concepts, then it becomes a lot easier. It's going to be tough growing up in a world with AI because I have to imagine if I was starting all over again and AI existed, you better believe I was probably going to be using it as a shortcut to get like homework done, to get studying done, to get whatever done. And I think if I would have done that, I don't know if I would be where I am at today. I mean, we live in a world of AI and I use it, right? I use it professionally. I use it on this project that I'm streaming with. I'm about to use it right now just to kind of show it. But that's because a lot of what I am writing, I've already written hundreds, thousands of times. I know this like the back of my hand, right? And so to save myself a significant amount of time, and I mean significant, from typing, it is easier for me to just write a sentence to the AI and say, hey, do this. Now, not just a sentence, it'd be like a paragraph. But the words I used to tell the AI what to do were born from that experience of writing code over and over again for 15 years, 40 hours a week, right? I think someone starting out should learn to program without AI. 100%. Now, there's nothing wrong with using AI like I'm currently using it, which is, if you saw, I'm just using it to understand. I'm not even using it to generate my code right now. I'm using it to be like, hey, I read this API, I read the documentation, and it's not quite clicking for me. Here is how I understand it. Could you explain it to me? And maybe it'll help you. Maybe not, right? Maybe it'll tell you that, where was it? Maybe it'll tell you that this timer type exists in, on this object I'm trying to use, but I know better because I have used this API for years and I know for a fact that this doesn't exist. And so I was like, wait a minute, is that true? And then I go look it up in the documentation. It's like, oh, it doesn't exist. Whereas someone who doesn't know, who has never used it before, they're going to see this and be like, okay. And then it doesn't work. What's going on? Well, best case scenario, they tell the AI, like, hey, it's not working. So what's going on? And the AI goes, ooh, you're right. It's not working. Let me see what's going on, right? I saw something online where it was like, when you're an expert at something using AI, you know how bad it is when you try to tell it to do something you're an expert at. But then at the same time, when you're not an expert at it and you tell it to do something, you think it's the greatest thing in the world. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Why is it only getting the things you know wrong? Is it though? Or is it getting everything just slightly wrong, right? Yeah, now I'll tell you something else. You guys, I assume based on the chatters that come into my stream and tell me they're like in the middle of school learning about programming, or they're getting ready to graduate, or just the general YouTube short analysis where it's like, hey, most of my audience is in like that slightly younger time range or age range. You're at a time where it's like you have a little I assume you have a little bit more free time to just sit down and play with all of this to get it figured out, right? Versus you need to just jump in and generate all the things, right? Now, that's all of what I'm saying is for the current time period, right? I can't predict the future. I have no idea if AI is going to get significantly better than this or not. No idea. If it does, who knows, right? You're still going to need like people who are experts at their domain. You're still going to need the know-how, right? Someone's going to have to review. Imagine using AI for anything that is like dependent on human life, right? Would you depend your life on code that was AI generated for your Tesla autopilot? Oh, that's terrifying, right? Or do you expect a human to at least review it and ensure that everything is good, right? I feel for you guys though, especially if you're in college, because like I said, if AI was available to me, you bet your ass I'd probably be using it to to get by in school. I wasn't the greatest at school, so I would be doing everything in my power to just be done with school. Probably would have hurt me, but I think if you can land like if you can get an actual career going and get yourself a good mentor, I think that goes a long way. Especially if you can get someone who can code review for you, and like a lot of what I've learned came from, at least early on, came from on the job, having someone who would sit there and review my code, right? All right. I have to decide if I need this header file to appear in my installation directory as an include folder in case I want to link against this project externally. Oh, crap. We can't use trailing return types with Qt. I forgot about that. Dang it. Oh, wait. No. I'm dumb. A constructor doesn't have a return type, guys. I'm so dumb. See? This is what I get for having a AI autocomplete what I was typing. I was just like, yeah, it's good. I also don't think that's probably good. Let's try that. Oh yeah. So now I got to actually implement. But before I implement, I need to. Well, I guess I can add the. I think I need the constructor. Constructor. I mean, it's. I mean, another way to look at it is like, um, it's no different than using a calculator to solve the solve like your quadratic equation problem, right? You give it to a layman, someone who doesn't know the field, someone who either doesn't remember or has never learned about the quadratic equation, right? That's that whole gosh, do I even remember what it is? Negative b plus or minus the square root of 4ac minus a b squared over 2a, something like that, right? You give it to someone who doesn't know anything about it, and you say, "Hey, give me the answer to the quadratic equation with these three parameters, A, B, and C." And like what? Well, a calculator can solve that, right? You just put in the values and or I guess a phone these days. I'm showing my age. A phone can solve that. You just enter in the ABC, hit enter, and it will solve it for you, right? But if you don't know anything about the quadratic equation, how do you have any clue if you entered the values incorrectly? I bring that example up specifically because I got into programming by programming the quadratic equation into my calculator and then going to a an exam and just entering A, B, and C into the calculator because I didn't have to show my work, and I aced that test. Ooh, permission denied. Is that because my executable's running? Doesn't look like it's running. Did I screw something up? Try again. Permission denied. Your face is denied. Let's see. Cannot file install. Cannot copy file to. What the heck's going on? Oh, it is running. Whoops. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay, I wanted to see if it would automatically copy over my header files. Doesn't look like it did. All right, so here's how I would use AI. I know CMake has a way to install header files, right? I know CMake has a way to install files. I know Qt has CMake functions that can do some of this for you. What I don't know is exactly what the API call is, or I don't remember. So I'm going to now ask AI, be like, hey, this is what I know. This is what I'm thinking. Can you give me some suggestions? I need to install an include directory for Awin. I have a header file in source Awin core and source Awin entity. Not a header file. I have header files. Header files. Does Qt provide a CMake way of ensuring these headers get installed? Do I need to write my own install? The other question, should these headers exist in a separate root level include to make installation easier? Can you review the project and provide suggestions? Yeah, it doesn't automatically install the C++ headers. I kind of figured that. Short answer, no. You do not need a separate top-level include. Your current layout already mirrors. The clean modern way is CMake file set headers. So this I did not know. I have never used file set headers. What does Qt do what Qt does and doesn't do for installation? Add modules, provides, blah, blah, blah. I already know that. Qt provides generate deploy app script. Already know that. Recommended structure. No relocation needed. Keep the core and entity. Example. So it's this file set. Oh, what did I click on? Okay, so it's the file set Awin core headers, type headers, base dir. Interesting. Files. Okay, so this is where I would list my source files. I wonder if I have to, or my header files. I wonder if I have to actually list my source files here. And then down here where we do our installation step, we do file set Awin core headers. With base dir source, downstream code can write include Awin core. Oh, perfect. This is exactly what I want. Okay, so don't forget the QML pieces if you're shipping with the modules. For each add module target, you also need to install the generated artifacts. See, I think it's wrong about this because I'm pretty sure the Qt add QML module does do this. So I don't know where it's getting that from. I do eventually want Awin to be findable for someone else's C++ project so that they don't have to deal with any of this. All they have to do is find package and you get Qt in all my modules. Holy crap. Do I really have to do all this? Okay, this might not be worth the effort I was thinking. Not right now anyway. All right, I give up. I'm not going to worry about it right now. This will be a future fun and problem. All right, back to what I was doing. We're going to implement this fixed timer. And I think as a start timer of 0 precise, because I think I can do this. I probably have to override. So we have a start timer with a handle. Nah, I'm making this too difficult. I'll just use a timer. trying to decide if the timer itself should be running before or after this is emitted. But if it's emitted true, I think I would expect the timer to be running. So I think I do want to do this here, is kind of where I'm at with this. All right, so running, we set our start timer, set the interval. Or no, this is always going to be 0 because I want this timer to be running as fast as possible. So then milliseconds. Actually, you know what? Under the hood, I can store this as milliseconds. Make it that much type safer. What am I doing here? If I'm going to have to allocate a millisecond to store this, then I don't really need to do this check. Oh, yeah, I can. I can do this count. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Then I don't need this. Thank you. So this basically gets called on the event thread, which is probably good enough with a precise timer, as fast as it can go. Running is false by default, so we won't start it here. We will only start it when running is set to true. So I don't need this 0. I can just do dot start. And then whenever we accumulate enough delta time to meet our interval, we will trigger. And this won't be synchronized to the rendering. So if I want 100 hertz, I should get 100 hertz. We have bool. I don't know if I need... Yeah, I don't know if I need this repeat flag. I think I'm just going to say it repeats. I don't know if that's true. I can add it real quick. It shouldn't be that bad. Bool repeat. Is that it? Let's see if it compiles. I think I've done it. I do believe I have done it. And we're gonna see this work first try, right? New module, new class implementation. This is gonna work first try. We'll come into Briarthorn here. We'll link against it. Awin core. No, I don't need a link against it. I just need to import it. Awin.core. I actually don't need a link against Awin entity either. Now I think about it. Looking good. Okay, so now what I should be able to do is run the app, or not. Uh-oh. Import Awin core, and then run the app. Uh-oh. Awin core is not installed. Okay. That's a jerk. What am I doing wrong? Actually, yeah, I don't see my Awin modules at all. There's Awin entity. Probably because I'm linking against it. I would have thought this would have handled. I list Awin core as a dependency. Hey Trill, what are you doing? What? What are you doing? Alright, time for AI. I don't know. I would have expected that to work. I'm trying to run Briarthorn exe, which its QML has a dependency on Awin.core. When I build and install the project, I do not see Awin.core or Awin.entity in the installed directory. I was expecting to see something like Awin/core and Awin/entity for existing QML modules. All right, I'm gonna let that run and use the bathroom and see what my cat is all about. Here, come here. Hey, you wanna say hi to the stream? Huh? Wanna say hi to the stream? Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you being a twerp? Hmm? Yeah. Alright, let's go. Be right back. All right. Where am I at? Do I really need to do this? This just doesn't seem right. Doesn't even look like a QML directory was generated for core. Oh, they got moved over to here. I wonder if that's why. 'Cause this got moved over. I'm doing this so it can work. Hang on. Are you saying Qt has no way of auto installing these in the root CMake list? There is so all of my currently built modules exist at this location. Writes a script that runs during CMake install, scans your app's QML for import statements. For each in-tree module built with QTI QML module, it knows about them, copies the build tree output. If one is produced and reachable, okay, wait a minute. Something's not right. I'm not sure the LLM knows what it's talking about. It could be. Maybe I'm wrong, but something's not right here. So let's do. We can clean some of this up, eliminate some of what it's struggling with. Okay, so there's Awen core and entity. Maybe that's all I needed for now. It's not complaining about it. I mean, it's so maybe it was just the install thing I was missing. Fair. Yeah, it's running. Look at that. It is running. And if this works, then I can do console.log tick. And nothing is printing because I did not set running to true. So it should go once. Or not. Oh, because it... that might be a bug. Let me set repeat to true. Dang it. It's not working. Okay. I wonder if the QML extension I'm using supports debugging. Linting, syntax highlighting. Four years ago. Yep, updated 4 years ago. That's not good enough. Held a message for using smart detection. What are we dealing here with? Oh, someone got auto modded or auto blocked. Fair enough. Okay. I would have expected that to work, so I'm going to shut that down, and maybe I need to run it from the beginning here. Wait, is it dot log or dot? Pretty sure it's dot log, right? The problem is I don't remember. Okay, you know what? I should be able to put a breakpoint here. Okay, I am hitting the breakpoint, so that's good. I didn't get that wrong. So then do I ever get into the lambda? Does running ever get set? Okay, running is set to true. We set our start time. Emit that running changed. We get into our timer. So then do I ever get to this emit? Ooh. Okay, so we never get... I swear I just had this conversation with chat like day before. PIMDAS. So is this correct? So we have our start time. We have our new time minus start time. That's already elapsed. We add it to accumulate, and then our new time becomes start. Let's build this again. I guess I could just launch it. It'll build for me. Okay. That's crazy. Why is this not getting hit? Are my units wrong? So now becomes a large number. Accumulate becomes negative. Accumulate is negative. So I'm doing something wrong. No, what am I doing wrong, people? Why is accumulate negative? While accumulate is greater than interval, which it always will be. Why is accumulate negative? Oh, did I not initialize it? Thankfully, no one's really watching my stream right now, so that went unnoticed. There we go. See, I knew what I was doing the whole freaking time. So now if I say running is false, well, I mean, we're not going to see anything change. Batman. Right? Now if I say repeat is false, but I set running to true, we'll see Batman. Oh, it's still printing tick. Why is it printing tick? All right, I'm going to set those to false. I'm going to relaunch, see if it prints tick. Okay, that looks good. Running true. We'll get Batman once. Repeat true. We get Batman many times. All right. We have officially implemented a fixed step timer that runs on the main thread effectively, that is not synchronized with the rendering thread. So this is basically where I'll be able to put game logic. I'll be able to build up game logic. This is effectively implementing an on update function, if you will, that I can reach in and write like JavaScript with. If we need extra performance, then we don't have to use this. Obviously, we can implement everything in C++, but for now, this will make things a little easier to get some testing up and running and get the entities moving around with motion, with speed, acceleration, all of that at a fixed time step interval. Awesome. So I want to get this committed. Make sure we're good. That looks good. That looks, you know what? Let's add a little bit of documentation, a little bit of AI assisted documentation. I'm sure it can figure out what I'm trying to do here. There, added some documentation. Is it needed? Meh, probably not, especially since I'm the only one who's really using this. Cool. Ooh, what is it trying to do here? All right, so that looks good. What's the tool for AI documentation? It's just GitHub Copilot. I have GitHub Copilot inside my VS Code. I assume it's Copilot. Part of it might also be the Microsoft IntelliSense, C++ IntelliSense extension. That's just what the default extensions are. IntelliSense, enhanced development tools, that kind of thing. That plus Copilot inside VS Code is giving me that. It will it'll automatically document, and then it will also automatically like autocomplete code for me. Speaking of autocomplete code, you know what I need? I need a test. Can you implement a G-test for Awin core? This may require a custom main.cpp. See, you got to know what you're talking about in order to feed the AI correct information. Otherwise, it won't figure it out. This may require a custom main.cpp to instantiate a QCore, is it core application? To support signals. We'll see what it does. Okay, so it's going to create a test folder using gtest discover test. Perfect, that's what I want. It's going to write a custom main that instantiates the core application like we need. And then it's going to write a test. Ooh. I have it set to ask, and this is not the naming convention I want to use, so I will have to fix that. Is it actually going to do that while it's set to ask? That'll be interesting. It's already struggling. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it to agent so it'll actually do the work. Actually, no, I'll set it to plan so I can add adjust what it's trying to do. I want test naming convention to follow class name.test.cpp. Is that it? Was that the only thing I didn't like? And, oh, no. I want the test folder name to be singular, not plural. Okay. That looks correct. This looks correct. Also update the Copilot instructions for the naming conventions if they don't already exist. Go. All right, so that will create my test module. Integrate it with gtest and cmake so that I can run it using ctest, which will also work in my software pipeline. So good. Do a go-to statement. Are you insane? This is C++, not C. What are you doing? Ouch, my cat. Ouch. I'm hoping it has a test that actually like tries to measure the time. This might be good enough. Well, it's not really measuring. What is this trying to do? We're just making sure it gets triggered once in 500 milliseconds with repeat set to false. Okay, that makes sense. Do you break nested loops with additional Boolean flags then if goto seems so unacceptable to you? Do I break nested loops with additional Boolean flags? Nested loops. I don't think I write a lot of nested loops. It might just be a break statement, like, or a continue statement, right? Like an if condition break or if condition continue is probably what I would do. I don't think I write a lot of nested loops, so it's not that big a deal, but if I was, that's probably what I would do. Or have like, I think like you mentioned, just have like a Boolean flag to break out of everything. What the hell's going on here? What is it struggling with? There. Oh no. Does it need Qt6 test? I don't know if I'm including that. Um. No, it's there. I just need to link against it. Oh no. I need to do an export macro for Windows. I forgot about that. Luckily, CMake has a tool to auto-generate that for you. I could also just set... I'm pretty sure there's a flag that will automatically export symbols on Windows. I don't know what the standard rotate thing the LLM is trying to do. Trying to fix a standard rotate. Okay. Okay. Oh, hey, generate export header. It's onto it. So it's okay, so it knows about generate export header. We'll see if that's what it uses. I'd also be okay with just setting a flag and saying, hey, all Windows symbols are exported. All right, it is going crazy on a standard rotate issue. What is standard rotate? X utility? Vectorization. It uses vectorized operations to enhance speed, which can cause link time errors if there are version mismatches in the STL libraries, such as unresolved external symbol standard rotate. It is likely because you are linking object files compiled with different versions of MSVC's standard library, requiring a rebuild of all components. Oh God. Hmm. Don't like that layout. Ooh, this guy is struggling. I might have to stop it. Oh, is it? It might be using the wrong version. Okay, I'm gonna stop it because I do have 2 copies of Visual Studio installed right now. Anyway, this needs to be moved down here. This is wrong. Oh man, it's like struggling to. It didn't generate my. It's almost like the mock didn't run. Or it's not linked. Oh, it's not getting linked. Hang on. That's right. I never finished the. Oh, what do I do? Is that what I want to do? Do I want to generate export headers? What's better? Generating export headers or setting a flag to export all symbols? Real downsides. Okay. All right, so I want to know how to do. I don't care about your standard rotate issue. It's been a minute since I've used this function. I mean, design, like, you mean like software design patterns? What are you doing, cat? Um, I don't I don't have a stance on patterns. They're a tool to solve problems, right? They exist because common problems kept showing up and they provided a consistent way to solve said problems and then in turn gave developers vocabulary to communicate with each other about said problems. So I would say from that perspective, they're pretty good. Clean architecture. I don't know what you mean by that. I assume that is you're just talking about like what? Keeping features separate from each other, having like self-contained layers, if you will, stuff like that. I would say when it comes to like clean architecture or any other, you know, way of architecting your framework, your application, etc. You just do what you need to solve the problem, right? Because some of it gets really complicated really quick, which might make sense for bigger projects, but might not make sense for small projects. So it's kind of a cop out, but you know, at the end of the day, you're writing code to solve a problem, and you want the part of that goal is to enable yourself to solve said problem as quickly and easily as possible. Or do what I'm doing and make it as difficult as possible. Because everything I'm doing here could probably just be solved if I used Godot. For Almond Core specifically, it's a Qt QML module shared. All right, so let's do this. Let's use CMake's generate export header for Awin, core, and entity. I was getting away with it for my entity module because it was just a header file. But now that I have actual implementation, gotta export it. Oh, I don't like that. I went into the export. That makes sense, but I don't. No, this isn't gonna work. I used to have a solution that made this clean. I don't like this solution. I would prefer using .hxx for auto-generated headers like export. I would also prefer if including said headers followed the source path, i.e., source Awin core fixed timer.hpp would be include Awin core fixed timer.hpp, which means the export would be found in Awin core export.hxx. Boo, Guardian Druids got nerfed. That's crap. We were unkillable. Let's see. Wow. Guardian Druid. Is there news on this? We'll see. Hey, Vengeance. All right. Let's see if this worked out the way I wanted it to. Owen entity. F7 to build. Dude, Cat, you gotta relax, dude. What? You've already been fed. Okay, promising. Lots and lots of text with no warnings or errors, so that's good. Let's take a look at the implementation here. Why the hell would you do that? Okay, that makes sense. That looks good. So let's grab that. Oops, no. What I don't like is... Got rid of my project name, or did I never have it? Hang on. Maybe I never had it. I never had it. Hello. What do I use C++ for? On stream or professionally? Professionally, I use it for like simulation frameworks and aircraft displays. Usually involving like OpenGL in some form. And also like desktop applications, mobile applications. Though I don't have as much experience using it with mobile, though it should work. All right, so that built, which means the test should now run and maybe pass. Finished with return code 0. I think we are looking good. And with that, I think I'm at a good stopping point. Oh man, I was streamed for 3 hours. I was trying to do this in 2. So to kind of summarize what I worked on today. So last stream, I got the hot reload up and running here, right? Those red squares represent different entities. I also got it working to where I can modify the files in my local directory here versus the installed version. So if I want to, I should be able to add another entity and give her different values, different heading, hit save. It'll hot reload. So now I can just I can modify my text files and build an application like that. And then when I'm ready to actually deploy it, say on Steam, I will be able to change this line here from loading the QML file to loading a module, and the QML will get compiled as bytecode into the application and run a little faster. Now, there are flags to actually auto-generate the QML into C++ files. I haven't personally gotten to work yet, so maybe with some time and effort, I'll figure that out too. And then we'll be able to kind of compile all of this together into a binary that I could release on Steam, assuming this turns into a game people actually want to play. But yeah, for rapid prototyping, though, holy crap, I can literally just come in and be like, hey, hello chat, hello chatters, save it. I can make the font bigger. Just how big can I make the font? Super big, right? Can resize. It resizes smoothly, which is kind of awesome because Windows, if you don't know, is a pain in the butt to get resizing to redraw as you resize. So that's awesome. But yeah. And then this stream, I implemented the timer fixed step here. Actually, I could probably show that real quick too. And the whole purpose of this timer is to basically give me a physics update step. So I have got this implemented such that I can have this invoke some JavaScript, which is crazy, right? Because I'm doing C++, but invoke some JavaScript or C++ functions that I implement. Hot reload. Now you see this. We're printing timer triggered at 100 hertz, a fixed time step, which is what you need for like game updates, physics updates, that kind of thing. So that's implemented. All of that will get pushed up to my GitHub repo, which is public. The only thing that's not going to be public is the game itself, which I'm implementing in this folder right here. But everything else you see here will be or is available in GitHub if people so choose to peruse it. I'm probably not accepting any kind of contributions because I don't know if I want to deal with maintaining all of that. I work a full-time job. I don't have enough time in the day to also stress about code reviewing and making sure the project stays sound, you know. But yeah, progress was made one step at a time. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. I do have a Discord. I don't know how useful it is right now because I'm still like figuring out all the streaming and stuff like that. The Discord link's on my Twitch page. I think the GitHub page is also linked on my Twitch page. I think. If not, I'll fix that. And then for those who are new here, I try to stream at least every other day, if not every day, 5:30 Eastern Standard for a couple of hours. I can't spend too much time on this. I'll go brain dead from programming. I literally do this 40 hours a week. Thursdays, I'm going to try and play a video game. I've already started playing Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. Got to or almost level 2. About ready to head to Nashkel if you know anything about Baldur's Gate. So I'll be continuing that on Thursday. This game going to be an aircraft RPG, top-down, like tactical simulation, probably a roguelite. Fight different scenarios, defeat different bosses, get different upgrades, play as different aircraft with different abilities, that kind of thing. So we'll see where that turns out. But the past couple streams, I've just been working on getting this project up and running to basically do what I just showed off, and it's finally paying off, which is that hot reload, type in a text editor like VS Code and not have to use Qt Creator IDE or Godot's editor or anything like that. I can just use a text editor, any text editor, and this will work as long as it supports CMake. So yeah, a lot of progress being made. Hopefully a lot more progress to come. And I think I'm going to end it there. For anyone who came by, thank you. I appreciate it. And hopefully I will